In a quiet corner of an old town, tucked between narrow stone streets and time-worn buildings, stood a small bakery known as Hearts and Crusts. It wasn't a place that caught your eye at first glance. The walls were cracked from decades of harsh winters and hot summers, and the wooden sign above the door had faded so badly that most letters were barely readable. Yet every morning, before the sun fully rose, something magical drifted through the streets. The warm, comforting smell of freshly baked bread filled the air, wrapping the town in a sense of calm and familiarity that no renovation could ever replace. The bakery belonged to a man named Thomas. He wasn't wealthy, nor was he influential, but he was known by nearly everyone in town. Thomas had kind eyes, tired hands, and a gentle smile that never seemed forced. He lived modestly, waking before dawn to knead dough with care, measuring flour carefully because he never had more than what the day required. His life was simple, and so were his beliefs. He believed that kindness mattered, even when it cost something, especially when it did. One particularly cold morning, when frost clung stubbornly to windows and breath turned into white clouds in the air, Thomas noticed a small figure standing outside his shop. A little boy, no older than 8, pressed his face against the glass. His clothes were thin and torn, clearly not enough for the season, and his cheeks were pale with hunger. His eyes, however, were fixed on the loaves of bread resting on the shelf inside, glowing golden in the soft morning light. Thomas paused his work. He had only baked a few loaves that day, and one of them was already promised to a regular customer. Still, he wiped his hands on his apron, picked up the last loaf on the shelf, wrapped it carefully in brown paper, and stepped outside into the cold. Without asking questions, he held the bread out to the boy. "Here," Thomas said gently, his voice calm and warm. "You should eat." His hands trembled as he reached for the loaf, then pulled back. "I don't have any money," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Thomas smiled. "That's all right," he replied. "Today, your smile is enough." The boy hesitated for a moment longer, then something softened in his expression. A shy smile appeared, fragile but genuine, the kind that carried gratitude deeper than words. He took the bread, nodded quickly, and ran down the street, turning once to wave before disappearing around the corner. Thomas watched him go, unaware that this small decision, made without thought of reward, had planted a seed that would one day return in ways he could never imagine. Life went on, as it always does. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Business at the bakery grew more slowly. Fewer customers came by, and some days Thomas sold barely enough bread to buy more flour. There were evenings when he sat alone in the shop, counting coins with quiet concern, wondering how long he could keep the doors open. Yet every morning he returned before sunrise. He baked his bread, swept the floor, and opened the door with the same familiar smile. To anyone who passed by, whether they bought something or not, Thomas offered a greeting. "A good morning costs nothing," he liked to say, even when his own days felt heavy. Years passed quietly. The bakery aged along with him, but it remained a place of warmth in the town. One evening, as the sky darkened and Thomas prepared to close, the bell above the door rang. A young man stepped inside, wearing a clean coat and carrying himself with calm confidence. "Are you Thomas, the baker?" the man asked. "Yes," Thomas replied, looking up. "How can I help you?" The man studied him for a moment, then smiled. "You don't remember me, do you?" Thomas frowned slightly, searching the man's face. There was something familiar there, something he couldn't quite place. Many years ago, the man continued, I was a hungry child, standing outside this shop. You gave me a loaf of bread and told me my smile was enough. Thomas froze. Memories rushed back, vivid and unexpected. Before he could speak, the man placed an envelope on the counter. That bread saved my life, the man said quietly. It gave me strength when I had none. I grew up, became a doctor, and never forgot what you did. Now, I want to give something back. Thomas opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside were documents and a letter explaining everything. Funds to restore the bakery, support to keep it open, a promise that no one who walked through its doors would ever be turned away hungry. Tears filled Thomas's eyes. You remembered, he whispered. After all these years, the man nodded. Kindness is never forgotten. It always finds its way back, just like the smell of fresh bread. From that day on, hearts and crusts changed. The walls were repaired, the ovens replaced, but the heart of the bakery remained the same. It became a place where anyone could find warmth, food, and a moment of human connection. Each loaf was wrapped with a simple message. A smile given is a life touched. And in that quiet old town, people learned that kindness costs nothing, but its value is beyond measure. As the saying goes, kindness costs nothing, but it changes everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming English stories, only on English Life Tales.